All right, so this video is to walk you through how to use Google Sheets to complete your regression project. So the regression project requires you to calculate a few different things. You need to find the correlation, you need to make a scatter plot, you need to find the regression equation, you need to find the R squared, you need to find the standard deviation of the residuals, and you need to create a residual plot. All right, and we can do all of those things here right in Google Sheets. And this video is just going to show you how all of that works. All right, so we'll start with the correlation. All right, there's a function in Google Sheets that will calculate the correlation first for you. So you start by typing an equal sign in an empty cell. All right, the command is CORREL for correlation. All right, you then put in a left parenthesis. You're going to left click on your X data and then drag down, making sure to highlight everything. You're going to click back up in the formula bar. You're going to type a comma. Then you're going to left click on your Y data, again, dragging down. You're going to click back up in your formula bar. You're going to make a right parenthesis, and then you're going to hit enter. All right. And when you do that, all right, we don't want to autofill right now. That will calculate the correlation for you. All right. So there's the correlation, quick and easy. All right. The next thing to make is the scatter plot. All right. So to make a scatter plot, I'm going to highlight my X and my Y data. This time I'm going to highlight the labels so that they automatically appear on the graph. Note that when I did the correlation, I didn't want to have the labels. I just wanted to have the numbers. But with the scatter plot, I'm going to highlight the labels. I'm going to drag all the way down. I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to choose Chart. All right. It may come up with the right chart. It may not. All right. If it doesn't, you go over here to this chart editor window. You go to chart type and you look for the desired chart that you want. Scatter plot is down here towards the bottom. So if it starts off giving you a line graph or a histogram or anything like that, or a bar chart, just scroll down here and actually pick that you want the scatter plot. All right. If you're not seeing this window over here on the right, like it's not there, you accidentally close it. If you click on your graph and you click on those three dots, there should be an option to edit the chart, and then that window will come back up. All right, so there's our scatter plot. From the scatter plot, we can also get our equation and we can get our R squared value. So to do that, we go over here and we click on Customize. All right, we go to where it says Series. And then there's a little checkbox for trend line. We're going to click that. Once you click that, it gives you some new options. One of the options is label. We're going to change it from none to use equation. And then we're also going to check the show R squared value. All right. So at this point, I can X that out. And then I've already made my scatter plot, so that's taken care of. My regression equation is right here at the top of the graph. So it would be something like y equals 0.168x, and that's plus a negative 0.218. So I'm just going to write that as minus 0.218. All right, but that would be my regression equation. And then it lists my R squared right next to that, which is 0.705. All right. Next is the standard deviation of the residuals. And this is the step that probably requires the most work because I have to go and actually have to calculate all of my residuals. All right. So to calculate my residuals, I first need to know all of the predicted values for my Y. All right. So this runs here. This is my X. This winning percentage, this is my Y. I'm now going to calculate predicted Y. All right, and to calculate predicted Y, I basically have to program in my regression equation. So again, I start with an equal sign. My slope was 0.168. I just got that from my scatter plot. Instead of multiplying it by X, I'm going to type a multiplication sign, and then I'm going to click on my first X value. All right. I'm then going to type a subtraction sign and type the 0.218. Again, that's coming from my regression equation. All right, if I hit enter, it should ask if I want to autofill. And if it does, great, you can just hit the check mark. If it doesn't ask that, you can go to the box. When your mouse is over that little ball on the bottom right, left click, drag down, and you should be able to fill in all of the predicted Y. All right. Now we can get our residuals. All right, because the residuals are actual minus predicted. So I'm just going to do equals, click on my actuals, type in a subtraction sign, click on my predicted, hit enter. Again, it should ask you to autofill, but if it doesn't, you can click on that bottom right and then drag it down. All right. Now, to calculate the standard deviation, I actually need the residual squared. So residual squared right here. I would go equals. I would click on this box, and then I can type the caret symbol, which is Shift 6, and a 2, and that will square my residuals. All right. I can then drag that down. All right, so now I have all of my residuals squared. Now I need to add up all those numbers, divide by n minus 2, and take the square root of that. So I have 30 different observations here, so I'm going to be dividing by 28. So the way I can do that is I can go equals SQRT for square root, and then type a left parenthesis. Then I can type SUM for sum, left parenthesis, and then I can highlight all of these values. All right, that's going to highlight all of them. I can click back up here in my formula bar, close my parentheses. I'm then going to type a division sign. I'm dividing by n minus 2, which for me, that's 30 minus 2, or 28. I'm just going to type the 28. I'm going to close my parentheses. I'm going to hit enter. And there's the standard deviation of my residuals. So I'm just going to type that over here, but it's 0.050. So now I have the standard deviations of my residuals. The last thing I need is the residual plot. All right, so the residual plot is made using the x values and the regular residuals, not the residual squared. So I'm going to start by highlighting the x. So I click on x. I drag down. Now to highlight two columns that aren't next to each other, I have to use the control key on the keyboard. So I'm going to hold down the control key. I'm going to click on residuals. I'm going to hold down that mouse button and drag down. And now I have two columns highlighted that aren't right next to each other. I can go insert chart, just like I did for the scatter plot. Hopefully it's set to scatter plot. If it's not, again, you can go to that setup menu, scroll down to see scatter. If this menu isn't showing up, again, you can click on those three little dots, go to edit chart, and then change it to the appropriate choice. But now I have everything that's required for the project. I have my scatter plot, that's right here. I have my residual plot, that's right here. I have my scatter plot, that's right here. The scatter plot also gives me the regression equation and the R squared value. Those are both right here and right there. All right, I calculated correlation using the CORREL formula. And then the standard deviation of the residuals and the whole piece there, I had to do all kind of those little steps there. That's the one that's the longest and the most work. But if you follow along with this, you should be able to do it with your own equation. So you're going to do this once, and then you're going to do it again for your second X. And then you're going to be comparing the two models, like which one has the higher R squared, which one has the lower standard deviation of the residuals. Do they both have residual plots that are randomly scattered? How do the scatter plots look? Are they linear? Are they positively associated? Are they negatively associated? But you're going to talk about all that stuff that we talked about during the unit. All right. So hopefully this is helpful. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. All right. Great. Bye.